fantastic to see a sea of orange shirts. Love to have you folks with us every year. And forget the blue. And the blue are the most awesome.
We got a couple of black ones, but that's okay. Oh.
I'm Denise Cumming. I'm the Executive Director of the University Hospitals Kingston Foundation. We're the fundraising arm for Providence Care, Hotel Dieu Hospital, and Kingston General Hospital. And we are so glad to have you here to be celebrating the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. The Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation has donated more than $400,000 to Kingston's hospitals. Prostate cancer research over the years. The first ride was held in Ottawa in honor of the late Charlie Pester, and it has since grown to more than 30 cities across the country and just has taken off like wildfire. It's so exciting to see something that was initiated right in Eastern Ontario taking on a national tone. The next ride is, of course, Saturday, May 25th. Fabulous. We're looking forward to that. And I wanted to take a moment to welcome all of the folks who are here, both on behalf of the Kingston-Quinte Ride for Dad, and also on behalf of our hospitals. So if the folks, as I mentioned their names, would just give a little wave or stand up and nod, that would be appreciated. Rick McFarland, co-chair of the Kingston-Quinte Ride for Dad. Trina Young, our other co-chair of the Kingston. Who's going to speak on behalf of our survivors today. Ian Wilson, who has a long affiliation with our foundation, is also going to be participating. And a number of other folks who are either committee members or volunteers. If you all just want to wave or stand up, we'll applaud for you. Introduce Dr. Roger Deely, who is our Vice President of Research at Kingston General Hospital and the Director of the Queen's Cancer Research Institute. Brenda Carter, who is our Regional Vice President of the Cancer Services. And two very special folks who you're going to hear from a little bit later, Dr. Chandra Joshi and Dr. Bill McKillop. Dr. Joshi is with the Department of Oncology at the Cancer Centre of Southeastern Ontario. Division of Cancer Care and Epidemiology at the Queen's Cancer Research Institute. And I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Pierre Gaumont, who is here on behalf of the Kingston General Hospital Foundation Board of Directors. So now that we're all warmed up on the applause, I'd like Rick to step forward and say a few words. Rick. Oh.
Hi everyone, I'm Trina, and I've been involved with Ride for Dad now for 5 years. I would like to congratulate Dr. Yoshi and Dr. McKillop for being this year's recipient of our research funds. We really look forward to hearing what projects you are working on, and I hope to get more details on that. As many of you know, this is a one-day event, essentially 6 hours on a Saturday, that a bunch of motorcycle enthusiasts get together to spread the word about prostate cancer. 6 hours. Hard to believe. That takes 364 days to plan, many sleepless nights, worrying if everything is done, panic attacks, and second guessing, etc., to arrive at our one-day event. And every year, we are blessed to have a very hard-working committee of volunteers that make this 6-hour event a success every year. I'd like to take a few minutes to thank our hardworking committee. This isn't just a team, but a family. We are all personally touched in one way or another by prostate cancer. This is why we are so passionate about this event. It's our way of raising awareness with the hope that simply talking to your doctor or having a PSA test will help save life. This is our mission for Ride for Dad. And within our volunteers, there are some stand-ins, some people that help, and I would just like to call attention to a few of these people. Diane Neal, who isn't with us today, she's our registration and Scotiabank liaison. Jen Harpel, our volunteer coordinator, Pat McKenzie, our souvenirs, Kim Kushner, who is in here, who is our prizes and sponsor, Mike Corky, our ride captain, Terry O'Hara, our lunch coordinator, Fred LeBlanc, our CFB Kingston liaison, Julia Williams, former co-chair, and research, who is hands-on to seeing where our research dollars go. Doug Wood, we have nicknamed him the Finder, because whatever this committee needs, we just send Doug out to get it, and he sees every year. Wayne Lehman, who again is kind of one of our finders, and whatever we need, he successfully gets for us. And Marion Perry.
Hey.
She is our Walmart and events liaison, and I would like to point out that since 2008, in liaison with our Walmarts, Kingston, Napanee, Smith Falls, Trenton, we have raised over $60,000. And last but not least, I would like to thank Rick, our fearless leader, who probably receives 20 to 100 texts and phone calls and emails from me a day. Thank you, Rick. We are very lucky to have you as our leader. And to our 2013 ride, I have already put in the order for Sunshine. I know it will be even more successful than last year. So thank you very much.
Good morning and thank you. We're all excited to be here to present this gift to the hospital foundations in excess of $62,000. As we talked before, this is our 9th year for the Motorcycle Ride for Dad as a Kingston chapter. And as Denise alluded to, over that time, we've donated over $400,000 to the university. As pointed out also, the Ride for Dad was created in memory of Charlie Pester, who was a local Kingstonian. And that's the way it was then. We wrote in memory. Since that time, Ride for Dad nationally has raised over $10 million for research, awareness, and education. Because of this awareness and education, more men are talking to the doctors and getting checked, and we now celebrate more survivors. And in a moment, you'll hear from one of them. It takes hundreds of volunteers, participants, and also our local and national sponsors to make this world-class event a success. I thank them all. The 2013 Kingston-Quinte Ride for Dad, been dubbed Year of the Survivor, will be held Saturday, May 25th, starting from the Thompson Drill Hall. We will be doing the parade through town, and then a 2-hour poker run, which goes through the local counties around here: Hastings, Prince Edward County, Lennox and Addington, and Kingston and the Islands. Now I'd like to call on Ed Harry to say a few words. Thank you.
I didn't know I was speaking on behalf of all survivors. But anyway, thanks Trina and Rick. Without leadership like you guys provide, this wouldn't be possible. Anyway, I was on that first ride in Ottawa. I was working in Ottawa at the time. And after I retired, I moved to Kingston and carried on with the rides here. I was diagnosed with cancer in, I think it was 2005, 2006. When I was diagnosed, I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want anybody to know that I had cancer. You know, he's going to die. So why upset more people than I needed to? I wasn't even going to tell my wife, but my doctor made me. He said, tell your wife. And of course, once I told my wife, everybody knew. No.
I'm telling you.
But anyway, the reason I'm doing this is because I have 4 brothers and 3 sons. And I said, you know, if I can get cancer, so can they. And Since then, I've had all my brothers having tests. One brother did die of cancer, but it wasn't prostate cancer. One brother has been diagnosed with cancer. He's had the operation, so he is also a survivor, and he does participate in the rides. And a brother-in-law, he's a cancer survivor also. He's taking the treatment. And I insist that my 3 sons all have tests. And that's the big thing. If you know anybody that has not been tested, 45, 50 years old, get it, tell them, persuade them, hold a gun to their head, anything, get them tested. Well, they can take a cancer they can. Anyway, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ed. And you know, I recall Mary being the person who hands out the best hugs ever. She's come every year, and every year she hugs everyone in the room.
That's the only reason I go on the right.
So at this point, I would just like to announce, there was a reference to it, that the support this year totals $62,526 and will support the work of 2 of our researchers here with us today, Dr. Chandra Joshi and Dr. Bill McKillop. And I'd like to invite them forward, as well as representatives of the Ride for Dad, to do the presentation of the big check.
Good morning, everybody. And before I begin, I would like to actually invite and introduce my co-investigators, Dr. Shenfield and Dr. Fitzina. I'll be honored if you can join me. Well, Dr. Fitzina is a professor at the School of Computing at Queen's, and he and his group are very well known and well recognized for their research in ultrasound guidance and surgical procedures, including prostate brachytherapy. And they have a very sophisticated lab at the Queen's University which does this research. And Dr. Shenfield, he is a radiation oncologist. He will be leading the prostate brachytherapy working group at Kingston General Hospital, and I'm a medical physicist. So 3 of us, and there are more people behind us who make a multidisciplinary team, and which have a kind of common interest, and that common research interest is prostate brachytherapy. And we are very grateful to the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation and Kingston-Quinte chapter of Motorcycle Ride for Dad for their generous grant to support our research. And this particular research proposal or project is actually directed towards introducing electromagnetic catheter tracking methods to improve dose planning and expedite treatment delivery in high-dose brachytherapy of prostate cancer. Okay, sounds a little complicated. So just a brief definition of brachytherapy. It's a kind of internal radiation therapy where the radiation sources are directly placed inside the cancerous tissue or in the close vicinity of the cancerous tissue to deliver the radiation dose. Okay? So in particular, the high-dose prostate brachytherapy that the research will be working on is an operating room procedure where you implant narrow plastic tubes which are called catheters inside the prostate gland. All right, and after that, a radiation source is sent into all these multiple catheters inside the prostate gland to deliver the treatment. And so this source is actually sent in a very strategic and careful way, very planned way. Okay, and at the end of the treatment, the source comes out and the catheters are also removed, and there is no radioactive material or radiation left inside the patient. All right. Okay, so needless to say, because this whole thing depends on implanting the catheter and the accuracy of the catheters, so it is very vital to accurately track these catheters to plan the treatment of the prostate. Okay, so we call in our terms digitization of these catheters. Okay, usually the tracking is done manually by hand, visually, and it can be quite error prone, and it can be also quite time consuming while patient is still on the bed with the catheters implanted in the patient. Okay, so in our method of research, we want to introduce electromagnetic tracking of the catheters. So what we will do is we'll actually put an electromagnetic sensor into each catheter, and which are the signal from which is picked by the treatment planning computer automatically, and then you kind of plan treatment very accurately, and treatment delivery is also quite expedited. Okay, because you don't waste time manually tracking these catheters. Okay, so at this stage of our research, what we'll be doing, it will only involve the experimental and simulation kind of work in the lab setting to test the entire technology, and this technology can actually eventually be used in any kind of brachytherapy, not only prostate brachytherapy. All right. So basically, although it is a lab setting, but eventual ultimate success lies in the use of this technique and method in patient brachytherapy in operating room kind of setting. All right, so what will happen is what we think is that it will improve the accuracy of the treatment plans and accuracy of expedite the treatment delivery. At the same time, it is likely to cut down the patient's time on the treatment bed with the catheters implanted in the patient. So basically, the less trauma. And we also think by doing entire thing, we'll cut down some of the time that we spend in operating room. So there will be some reduction in the time that we spend in operating room. So again, I think this is my brief summary of what I think it is. And again, needless to say, we are quite excited about the opportunity to start this research, and extremely thankful to Motorcycle Ride for that community, volunteers and organizers for all the kind support that they have given to us, and it is really encouraging. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, for that very helpful explanation. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we are relieved to know that minds as bright as the three of yours are focused on how to improve incrementally this very important treatment for patients. So thank you. Dr. McKillop, would you like to tell us a little bit about what you've got on the plan?
Thank you very much. Thank you all, donors and fundraisers, for your very generous gift in support of our research program. I just want to tell you, I'm not the only person involved in this project. This is a collaborative venture that involves really everybody who's involved in treating patients with radiotherapy at the Cancer Center at Kingston General Hospital, and it also very directly involves a lot of our patients. So the type of research that I do is a bit different from Dr. Joshi's. Most of the money that's spent in Canada on cancer research is spent on pushing the frontiers back and learning how to provide even better treatment tomorrow. That's very, very exciting work. And we're all getting today the benefits of research that was done 20 and 30 years ago. So this is really important, that it's not inappropriate that we spend most of our money pushing back the frontiers. But the kind of research that we do is entirely different, and that is aimed at ensuring that today every patient gets the best possible care that's available right now. So we're in the business of trying to achieve what's already achievable in as many cases as possible. And we've, in the past, worked a lot on trying to optimize access to care. So everybody can get in the doors to get the kind of treatment they need in a timely kind of a way. More recently, we've become very engaged in looking at the quality of care that people get when they're getting cancer treatment. And we've chosen to work on prostate cancer. So with the cooperation of a whole lot of doctors right across Canada, we developed a scale for measuring the technical quality of care that's provided in radiotherapy for men with prostate cancer. And we've looked at the quality of care in terms of the dose that's delivered, how straight we should, how accurate the dose delivery is, those kind of things, those technical elements of care. And we've now done a study right across 31 of the 34 cancer centers that treat prostate cancer across our big nation. And we found that in general the quality of care is pretty good, but in every single center that we looked at, we found opportunities for improvement today, just by doing what we know we should be doing a bit better. And we've sent we've done the feedback, we've shown every center how they're performing in relation to all other centers. Every individual center has got its own strengths, but it's also got its weaknesses. And largely, as we understand it, they were quite unaware of them. So we're going to look again in a couple of years' time, and hopefully we're going to find improvements in the technical quality of care that's going to be improving the long-term outcome of prostate cancer. But what you're going to be helping us with is a different aspect of this. The technical quality of care is of supreme importance, because that's what's going to determine whether you're free of the disease in 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years' time. But the personal quality of care that you get when you're in a cancer center for a long period of time, often nearly 8 weeks of radiotherapy treatment, the personal quality of care that you get there, whether you get the information that you need, whether you're treated respectfully with the empathy from the caregivers, whether you've got access to your doctors and your nurses when you need it. Those kind of things are also very important too to the quality of life of people who are undergoing prostate cancer treatment. So what we're developing now, again with the plan of applying this right across Canada, but we're developing it here, is a scale for measuring the personal quality of care that men experience when they're getting radiotherapy treatment for prostate cancer. So we're asking men, we're going to, with your support, we're going to be asking men coming through the door of our centre, what elements of care are most important to them? What's the information they need? What are the supportive care services they need? And we're going to be using that information to construct a scale that we can use to measure the personal quality of care, with the goal of making this experience, this long experience, this 2-month experience of radiotherapy treatment for cancer a much more positive one. Not through making fancy discoveries for the future, but just by understanding people's needs a bit better. Now, the people involved in that with me, this is providing a training opportunity for a PhD student, a doctoral student in epidemiology, Kim Foley, who couldn't join us today, but she'll be here for the ride in, I guess, a couple of weeks' time, which she's very much looking forward to. We're working very closely with the radiation therapy technologists who provide such wonderful care for men who are getting radiotherapy every day, with the nurses, with the radiation oncologists that, like Dr. Shanfield, that prescribe and supervise this kind of treatment. But the people who are going to be providing the information are patients with prostate cancer. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but we ask people and tell them what it's about, and the vast majority of people are actually enthusiastic about this, because they know that while they're going through treatment, they're actually doing something that stands to improve the quality of care for people in the future. So, on behalf of all of us, on behalf of my dad, who died of prostate cancer, like so many of your folks, I guess I'm next in line, so I have a personal interest in this work as well. But on behalf of our entire team, thank you very much, all you fundraisers and donors. We're very, very grateful for your generosity that's enabled us to go ahead with this project. Thank you very much.
I think I can speak for all the cancer survivors in the room when I say that to know that there's someone with such passion and compassion trying to figure out how to create a better quality of care experience for patients is immensely comforting and encouraging. I did also want to acknowledge we have another member of the research team with us today, Dr. Andrew Kerr, who is a medical physicist at the Cancer Centre of Southeastern Ontario. So welcome, Andrew. And with that, I'd like to invite Dr. Roger Daly to say a few words. Roger.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to thank the Foundation on behalf of the cancer research community in Kingston. I've been in this position now for 5 years, and this has become one of my favorite events of the year, and that's not just because there's a check involved. It's been an amazing story to watch. The growth of the ride from year to year is just truly amazing. And it's clearly resonated, not just with the participants on the ride, I think, but with the whole Canadian population. And that's one thing that's changed in the last 5 years. I commented earlier on to someone when we were chatting that a year had gone by and I don't know where it's gone, and so the years seem to go by more and more quickly. But the amazing thing is that people don't look any older. So I don't know whether it's got something to do with sitting astride that 1000cc Harley or whatever it is, but it seems to be therapeutic. So
we're going to be getting him more money next year.
Yeah.
I want his mirror when he's older.
So I think one of the things that's really truly exceptional about the prostate cancer research community in Kingston, you got a taste of it from the presentations from Dr. Joshi and Dr. McKillop. I think we probably have one of the most multidisciplinary prostate cancer research programs in the country. And over the last 5 years, let's say since I've been in this position, we've used the funds raised by the foundation to support 15 different projects, and they range from basic prostate cancer genetics, prostate cancer biology, figuring out why some types of prostate cancer grow much more rapidly than other types of the disease, and why some forms are resistant to drug treatment. And what I think is particularly gratifying is that research, some of which Julia was involved in, has resulted in a diagnostic test, a new test, that shows considerable potential for distinguishing between that minority of cancers, about 10% prostate cancers, which are particularly aggressive, and distinguishing them from the other 90%, where we have more time to figure out how to treat and handle the disease. We've also funded research that's looked into the psychological impacts of hormone ablation therapy, the particularly difficult one to deal with, and to develop ways to help patients cope with some of the challenges that creates. One of the areas that we've really, I think, put a major emphasis on with the funds that we received from the foundation is in research into the educational needs of patients, setting up educational tools like information websites, and also the development of decision aids. Prostate cancer is it's a complicated form of cancer to treat, and there are a great many different treatment options out there. And I think that one of the daunting challenges for the patient is, first of all, getting their heads around what the options are and what they mean, and making truly informed decisions about what type of treatment they ultimately decide to get, because there's a lot of evidence, and I think Bill can speak to this, that the outcomes and the quality of life for patients that feel engaged in making decisions about their own treatment is better than those who just get shipped into a hospital and get told they're going to get chemotherapy or radiation therapy or whatever the form of therapy is. So I really do want to thank you again, and it's a very generous donation this year, and we'll make the very best of use of it. Thank you.
So like your foundation and our foundation and the Kingston General Hospital Foundation really rely very much on the enthusiasm and commitment and leadership of volunteers. And so I'd like to invite one of our volunteers, Pierre Gaumont, to come forward and make a few remarks on behalf of Kingston General Hospital Foundation. Pierre?
It's always fun to be here. I know so many faces. On behalf of the University Hospital Kingston Foundation and KGH Foundation, I want to thank you for your generosity, your time commitment, your passion. Without you, I don't think this would be possible. The work that's done behind the scenes is amazing, and our foundation and our team will want to continue to work with your team so that we can fund the research that's so appropriate for. So again, thank you so much. we look forward to seeing you at the end of the month for the Ride for Dad, and encourage you to continue, and we'll see you next year also. Thank you.
Thanks.